Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This time we're going to be looking at the Burnley Barracks, which was located in Burnley, Lancashire. I recently posted a picture of a map on the local sites there and it generated a lot of interest, so I've decided now to produce a video on it. So here we go. This is the history of Burnley Barracks. Burnley Barracks was a military installation at Burnley in Lancashire, England, built for cavalry but later used for infantry and storage. Military activities at the barracks declined in the late 19th century. The time of the French Revolutionary Wars, which was between 1793 and 1802, was comparatively prosperous for Lancashire workers, as although technology had reduced the importance of some traditional jobs, overall there were plenty of work and wages were high. During the Napoleonic Wars between 1803 and 1815, that closely followed, exports diminished, but this didn't cause great hardship locally. However, the peace led to a period where prices remained high, but wages continuously fell. Although Manchester and surrounding towns had been affected by the Luddite riots, it was not until 1818 that disturbances were recorded in Burnley. In September, a Lancashire-wide strike of spinners and weavers saw large crowds on the street, and the magistrates called troops from Manchester to disperse them. A few days later, a mob attacked the constable and broke open the prison to release those arrested. Alarmed by the situation, the local authorities in 1819 not only constructed a new prison, but took the decision to station troops in the town, with temporary barracks established at Lane Bridge. A protest meeting in early August subsequently saw the only speaker arrested, whereas a similar one 2 weeks later in Manchester is remembered as the Peterloo Massacre. In 1820, the government offered funds towards a permanent barracks in the Blackburn 100, and Thomas Dunham Whitaker, with his fellow magistrates, eventually opted for land at Burnley offered by Robert Townley Parker. The site was located on a ridge close to Gannow tunnel, on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, and between the old and newer roads to Blackburn. Nearly half of the £5,500 cost of building the barracks was funded by local landowners and businessmen, hoping it would prevent rioting. Conditions across Lancashire had reached the lowest point in 1826, with the situation in Burnley so severe that the Times reported that people were digging up carcasses of diseased animals for food. Although the power loom riots that year affected the Accrington, Blackburn and Rosendale area, there is nothing in the court records of the assizes or quarter sessions to suggest Burnley was caught up in the trouble. However, it was from these barracks that artillery were dispatched to Oldclough Mill in Weir. The rise of Chartism saw riots in Colne in April and August 1840, with a special constable killed by a mob armed with sharpened iron rails during the second. In both cases, troops marched from Burnley and the violence ceased with their arrival. In November 1841, the barracks was the site of a double murder-suicide. Private Robert Morris, a mess waiter and servant to Lieutenant O'Grady, had formed an intimacy with Isabella Habden, the daughter of the mess master. On a Sunday evening, Morris fatally stabbed Haddon and O'Grady in the officer's bedroom using a carving knife before also killing himself. During the 1842 general strike in August, troops were called to disperse a mob attempting to stop work at a coal mine in the west of the town. The following day, a group of 3,000 marched to Skipton, and the military was again set to intervene, with one soldier severely injured by the stone-throwing crowd. The construction of the railway in the second half of the 1840s led to rapid development around the site and the local station, originally only a temporary terminus. It was reopened as Burnley Barracks Railway Station in 1851, and up to 1861 the barracks had been used exclusively by the cavalry, usually 2 troops in 6-month detachments. However, it was then without a garrison for 4 years, and afterwards it was only occupied by progressively shorter periods with infantry regiments, sometimes based here. In 1873, a system of recruiting areas based on counties was instituted under the Cardwell reforms, and the barracks became a depot for the linked 30th Regiment of Foot and 59th 2nd Nottinghamshire Regiment of Foot, and the Burnley-based 5th Royal Lancashire Militia. Rioting during the Burnley Weavers' strike in 1878 again saw troops deployed, with 87 cavalry and 302 infantry supporting the police on the 3rd day of trouble. Following the Children's reforms, the 30th Regiment and the 59th Regiment amalgamated to form the East Lancashire Regiment, with its depot at the barracks in 1881. With the barracks in a poor state of repair, the East Lancashire Regiment relocated to Fulwood Barracks in Preston in 1898. The site was sold soon afterwards, with the clearance of many buildings during the 1960s and 70s and the construction of the M65 motorway in 1981, greatly changing the area. In regards to its layout, the first Ordnance Survey map of the area from 1848 shows the rectangular barracks located east of the town, with buildings around the central open space and entrances midway along the south-western boundary and at the northern corner. A survey in 1846-47 listed the stone-built barracks as containing 32 sleeping rooms, a wash house, 2 cookhouses, a hospital for 16 patients and a reading room. Water was provided by 3 wells and 34,000 imperial gallons rainwater collection system. In 1863, a tender was advertised for a 2-year project requiring a range of building trades. And also a little bit of random history here. Sir James York Scarlett, who rose to prominence in the Crimean War, was a lieutenant colonel in the 5th Dragoon Guards in 1835 when he married Charlotte Hargreaves, a Burnley coal heiress, with the town becoming his adopted home. And there we have it. That is the history or background stroke role of the Burnley Barracks that was located in Burnley, Lancashire. I do hope that you've enjoyed the video. Sorry if the pictures do not exactly match what I was talking about. I just actually struggled to get quite any pictures of the barracks because they are few and far between. Anyway, if you have any memories or any comments, nice ones please do make sure that you post them either on the comments on the Burnley groups that I will share this on, or on my YouTube channel underneath the video. And